Hey guys, I'm Sally Lyndley. Welcome to this episode of Shop with Sally. On this episode, I want to discuss the trend Normcore and the clothes for Normcore to bring into your personal wardrobe if this is something that you want to adopt for yourself in your own personal style. I am obsessed with Normcore. I always have been. I've always loved the simple American kind of white t-shirt and blue jeans. And as I started working in fashion and working with people higher and higher up, photographers, designers, I started to notice, especially with the men's people, guys who were in fashion, that they had these really chic uniforms that I was obsessed with. And, the guys were always in like Nick Knight and I think like Spike Jonze and Sophia Coppola. She's a girl, obviously. But I mean, Marc Jacobs and the designers there, and there's always this really chic uniform that these guys higher up in fashion, and then of course Sophia, who's always been a bit of a tomboy, have adopted, where it's like a white t-shirt or a button-down shirt, like a cotton button-down Oxford or Charvet shirt, which is so chic, and a fabulous pair of jeans. So, there's a couple different ways to take this, and there's some super fashiony versions that you see in the street style blogs where you have like interesting proportion jeans or shredded jeans, and you have sweatshirts and t-shirts and button-downs, or you have like the denim tuxedo, which is very like Canadian tuxedo, or the cowboy tuxedo, depending on where you're from, where you have like a denim button-down shirt with a pair of jeans. So you're in all denim on denim, which I love. But I also kind of think about, as far as Normcore and this whole concept, I think about like Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs and his mock turtleneck and his New Balances and his ill-fit jeans, which are hysterical. But also thinking about, like Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, his outfits, and then also, of course, Norm on the show, who Normcore is based on. And, I kind of just love this idea of taking, and this is basically, Jerry Seinfeld dressed almost exactly like my dad. So I like to think of like, okay, how do I take like my dad's personal uniform, which is all cotton button-downs, white t-shirts, a gray hoodie, and a pair of 505 Levi's, and a pair of like, I think you were like super nerdy, like Reebok shoes. How do I take that and appropriate to my style and what I like? So I am like, I talk to you guys over and over and over again about t-shirts. I love t-shirts. I live in t-shirts. This is just a fruit of the loom, t-shirt that I adore. I love button downs. I love Oxfords from Brooks Brothers and Uniqlo, and I have tons and tons of those when I'm in my Sophia Coppola mood. I love different jeans. I love like a classic like J brand style jean that's like a cigarette, that has a little bit of stretch in it, so it's a little bit sexy, but just like a very, very simple cut. And I'll put my options of my favorite jeans below. But I also love a fashion jean. I also love a crazy jean that has crazy rips in it and big proportions. And I love to buy vintage jeans on eBay and take them to the tailor and get weird stuff done to them. So, I think it's about finding each silhouette that you think works for your body inside of each of the categories of clothing there are for Normcore, and figuring out, what you feel good in, what you feel chic in, what you feel, comfortable in, that I don't know, to adopt this whole thing. And again, the thing that I love about Normcore is it's like you can do it on a very good budget, a very inexpensive budget, and make it look super cool. So the first thing that I would recommend for the Normcore clothing shopping list is a good sweatshirt, crew neck and hoodie, zipper hoodie. So those are two good things to have, especially like going into spring where it's still getting, still cold outside at night or whatever. I love, there's nothing I love more than a sweatshirt and a pair of jeans and a pair of sneakers or trainers. I think it's like the coolest outfit, and like it can also be really bad and look like a weird tourist, but you can play with proportions to make it look really cool, where you do like a super small sweatshirt or a very large sweatshirt and do it with more cutoff jeans, or, tighter jeans and a tighter, smaller sweatshirt can make it the proportions interesting. So I think when you're adopting these different items, think about proportions, and the proportions that make you feel the best and that you like. Like, if you like to buy your sweaters super small. I mean, sweaters are another thing if you don't like sweatshirts and you want to do something that's a little bit chicer, doing a good crew neck sweater here is fantastic for the whole Normcore vibe. But looking at what fit you like, whether you like a super ginormous fit or you like a more skinny fit. And I think it's about picking one or the other and kind of staying away from that medium ground. Then I also think that you can do like a workman's blazer, or like, sorry, a blazer, or like, but like a 3/4 length blazer is what I like with my Normcore look. Not so much like a suit blazer, more of like a overcoat kind of blazer, and like longer, or also like a barbor kind of outdoorsy kind of workman's jacket. So I'll put a couple of those options below, and cotton, and you can get some of that at the military store too for very inexpensive. And then I also love, you know, of course, cotton button downs, which I love the Oxfords from Uniqlo and from Brooks Brothers. Those are my two favorites, so I'll put my favorite button downs below. And I like to play with colors on these, like doing white, but also doing light blues, doing pinks, doing lavenders, doing, you know, some funny plaids, and not like flannels, not like cotton flannels, you know, more like your nerdy kind of preppy dad style shirts, with the, you know, button down collar or whatever, but kind of looking at more things like that. And then also, you know, looking at t-shirts. Again, I've done t-shirts over and over and over again. I'll put my favorite t-shirts below again. But finding your t-shirt proportions, I buy these by the bulk, pretty much like 6 packs of them. I get them in small, medium, and large because I like to wear all 3 different sizes depending on what I'm wearing as my bottoms. And then, you know, for your jeans for this, looking at, are you more comfortable in a dark denim like cigarette child pant? Are you more comfortable in like a 90s kind of mom jean? Do you like a high-waisted skinny jean? Do you like more of a flare bell bottom? I mean, I feel like when you start to get into flares and like super referential like 70s style jeans, it's almost outside of normcore. It becomes more of a fashion thing, and I think it's more about keeping it inside of like a straight leg or a 501 or a 505 kind of Levi's classic jean, and then doing just more of a cigarette pant if that silhouette works better for your body. But either doing that kind of lighter denim wash, that's that very kind of Steve Jobs like 90s color of denim, or doing a dark denim. To me, those are the 2 normcore kind of ideas. And then also, you know, of course, cutoffs, and I'll put options of cutoffs. I think doing your own cutoffs is always better than buying cutoffs. To me, cutoffs that are bought always look a little bit janky. I think you're better off buying Levi's in your size on eBay from like vintage 80s or 90s Levi's, and then cutting them off and washing them yourself. It always looks better, and then you can also customize your length. And then I also love for normcore, I love chinos. I think chinos are hysterical. Again, that's like something that's really good to get from the vintage or the thrift store. There's usually tons of them. You can get them for a very good price. Uniqlo and Brooks Brothers also have good chinos, and I'll put options for that stuff for you guys here. And, you know, I don't know, I would say Brooks Brothers is definitely the kind of headquarters for a normcore vibe, a chicer normcore vibe. And then Uniqlo is kind of like the more inexpensive version of the same thing. But again, I also like the concept of going to the thrift store. This is definitely one of those those categories that you could shop completely from the thrift store. And with your t-shirts and sweatshirts and button downs, the only thing you might not be able to get thrift store is a jacket. But I don't know, sometimes they have good jackets. And also shopping at this time of the year for jackets and things like that at the store is good because no one else is shopping for it. So you can find some good things because people are donating and doing their spring cleaning. So this is the time to go do thrift store shopping for normcore or for your closet. I still love the thrift store because I prefer my t-shirts worn in. I would prefer my denim worn in and secondhand because then someone has already broken in the denim and made it good. Every once in a while I get new stuff like from J Brand, or a friend of mine's doing a new denim line that I'm testing out for her. But for the most part, I really, really love vintage denim and worn-in t-shirts and worn-in button-downs because they're softer, and I like things that have been washed a couple hundred times. So that's why I prefer vintage and thrift store when it comes to normcore style clothing, and obviously the budget is way easier for that. So, okay, well, those are my recommendations. See below all my favorite stuff for normcore shopping for clothing, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Shop with Sally. Check you later.